What's your assessment of the Eagles going into this game?
They're a good football team. I think they got a lot of. They got a good back, got some good players on the outside, good quarterback. I think they play good up front together. So we got our hands full, but we just gotta go out there, execute, and play our game. So.
What stands out from that O-line specifically on tape, aside from the obvious down stuff, but what else stands out?
I think they just play good together. In the run game, they do good to get you out your gap, and they got a good back that can make all the right moves and gas you in a big way. And in the pass game, they pretty solid. They don't lose a lot, so just trying to break them down and trying to find some weaknesses that you can, kind of try to take advantage of and try to be successful. So they got a good group.
If you guys do get Cooper, well, first of all, how did Cooper Kupp look in practice yesterday? And if you do get him back, what do you think that means for you guys as a team?
Look good. They've been looking good for the past, few weeks. So to have him back out there was good. It's going to be big for us. Not just having a great leader out there, but a big, productive player ain't going to do nothing but make us that much better. So, hopefully, everything's on the ups and we continue to, do what he do. So.
What do you want the team to take away from their first experience against a rushing quarterback last week? Like when you look at the tape, what?
There was some good time. We did some good things. I think we did some good things in the pass rush game and keeping them bottom up at time. And even when he did, was able to get out guys as far as chasing them down and putting pressure on them and things like that. So we just got to continue to do that. Obviously, it wasn't perfect at times, but that's football. You just got to continue to play and and try to keep them bottled up, because a lot of these quarterbacks now is mobile and can do a lot of different things with their arm, but also with their legs too. So just trying to be stout in that and not allow them to hurt you in many ways like that. So
Some coaches and teammates have talked about just the energy that all the young guys have brought to the defense this year. Like, was that fun for you to be playing like in that group and just kind of the energy that they're bringing to the game?
Yeah. It is. It's been good. It's been fun for me, man. It really have been. Had them guys out there flying around. Definitely them DBs. They be out there talking a lot of trash. You guys they lock in, man. Let's go. But it's been fun, man. So just going out there and enjoying the moment, being in the moment. Never taking nothing for granted, obviously, and having an opportunity to play this game is a blessing. So you just got to enjoy it.
Aaron, there was a third and four O-line on the outside, and Ernest and Christian were on the inside, kind of in your spot. But obviously, to get an advantageous look for you, and then you helped Ernest get the sack. Can you kind of take me through in a little bit more detail what that play was and how that sort of unfolded?
Honestly, it was a play where I should have stayed outside. That's what was the part of it, but just the reaction that just happened to go inside, and Ernest was able to make me right and chase the quarterback down and not let him extend the play or get no yards on the play. So it was just a big play on him. Pretty much a mistake on my end, just playing fast and just reacting and going inside when I should have stayed outside, and he made me right. So that's what it's about, though. Obviously, things happen in the midst of playing a football game, but that's what you got the guys out there for. If I jump inside at times, I know he's trying to just make a play. Hopefully, the guy next to me or behind me is going and make me right. So.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that because Ernest, when I went back and watched it, it's clear Ernest was watching you and reacting to what you were doing, and then ended up.
I don't think he was watching. I think he was more, trying to hold that guard, and then, I go, and he just happened. It just looked good, I guess. Did it look good?
Yeah.
Okay.
It looked really smart.
It's supposed to be just like that, there. Yeah, just like that. Yeah, he was watching me, and then he gonna make me right. Yeah, we gotta put that in. Yep.
Did you guys watch film on that tush push play that they do, where Jalen takes the ball and everybody shoves him in the end zone? How do you counter that?
You just gotta be stout in the middle. Obviously, offensive line get low. You try to get as low as you can, and I think it all starts from the center. If you get under his pads and pop him up, and then guys crowd the ball, you can stop it. But it's definitely tough. But
What is that like when it's not like a typical goal line stand where you got to kind of guess what they're going to do when that's coming? What's kind of going through your mind?
Get as low as you can and just get off full speed. That's it. Make a pile.
All set.
spoken a lot of joy about the opportunities that come with front blocking as far as, showing them not what's lining to do. In that regard, what did you see from him in that phase, and how was he
Yeah, I thought he did a really good job for the first start. Obviously, only being here for whatever it's been, a month, 5 weeks, whatever it's been, and for him to step up, and you could tell he's played football before, obviously, right? The game wasn't too big for him, the offense wasn't too big for him. I thought, Rob and Coleman, just the communication they had surrounding him was great, and you just expect him to keep going up, getting more and more comfortable. There was definitely movement on a pretty good D line over there, and I thought they did a great job on that side in both phases.
What have you seen from Matthew Stafford through the first 4 weeks in terms of the range and the menu of throws that he's making?
He has every club in the bag. The first one to Puka, where he kind of got it up and over, the backer right in front of the, inside edge of the numbers where Puka drew the personal foul. That'd be not fun hitting him, going full speed. But no, he like I said, he has every club in the bag, and he enjoys that. I mean, he's one of the best throwers to ever do it. And what's cool about it, and I've said it numerous times, so not to be a broken record, but he's having fun out there. He's having fun playing with his teammates. He's having fun with the youth. He's having fun being healthy, and you can see it, and it's so infectious and contagious for not just his teammates, but the coaches as well.
When you are seeing him, not just because he's healthy, but also because you guys as game planners and play designers are seeing the range that he's capable of, how does that open you guys up a little bit more creatively, or does it?
Yeah, I mean, it's endless with him because there's not a throw he can't make, right? So we're not going to ask him to all of a sudden spread it out and do some quarterback run game or anything like that, right? But from a pass game standpoint, it's endless. We got to be, tight with what we're doing too, right? I mean, just because he's capable of doing a lot, we have to be very disciplined in terms of how much we're putting on the rest of the guys and making sure that not just him, but all 11 are comfortable.
Was there any point in the game where you thought maybe Matthew would have to come out of the game because you saw how hard?
From my vantage point, in terms of being with him since April and knowing him since last January, I don't think this guy's coming out unless he gets carried out. But you'd have to ask him that. But there was never a time. I mean, I know he was hurting. You could tell. I think we all could tell. But he's as tough as they come.
How's Cooper looked since he came back?
Again, he's looked great, right? I mean, he looks healthy, and even when he came back, I'd say whatever it was, 5 weeks, 6 weeks ago, kind of gearing up for that first game. You could tell he almost could tell something was still a little bit off, and from my vantage point, it looks like he feels really good. He's got a smile on his face. He's running around, and again, kind of like I was saying with Matthew. I mean, he just wants to be out on that field. That's what he loves to do. It's his job, and he loves doing his job.
Like for you as the offensive coordinator to kind of have, if he's ready to go Sunday, kind of have the full palette available.
Yeah, I mean, it's you're never going to complain about having more weapons out there, right? And so I think the guys that have been playing for the last 4 weeks, has it been perfect by any means? Absolutely not. But I think they've done a lot of good things, and we continue to go forward. And then having a guy like Cooper Kupp, who's been one of the best to do it over the last 6 years going into the 7th. So just having him it's great for Sean, myself, us as coaches, but it's really good for the teammates, in particular Matthew.
Is it a challenge at all to be able, I mean, with all that Puka has done early and all the targets, he's gotten to kind of disperse those kinds of things evenly, or
that will organically happen. I mean, you just, again, the defense a lot of times dictates where that ball goes. I know Puka's been getting a ton of balls, but it's not like we've been saying, hey, Puka needs 15 catches here for us to win a football game. The ball finds really good players, and so and that's been Coop's MO. The ball just finds him, right? So I'm sure he'll get his fair share.
Balancing the early read stuff, Puka's been, especially the zone stuff, the early read that Cooper has traditionally been that player. Balancing that out and mixing and matching those different, I guess, like leverages against defense. What is the conversation like? What will that be like for you guys?
It's been fun. Seriously, I mean, it's just, you got a lot of good receivers, and we're talking about 2 right now. And I understand the question because Puka's had a very good start to his first 4 games, just statistically speaking, and what the film shows. Obviously, what Cooper's done his whole career, but a lot of those guys have done a lot of good things, even if the ball hasn't been in their hand. So the ball's going to keep spitting it around. That's the cool thing about Matthew. You give him the read, you give him what the intent of the play is. He's going to do the best he can to fulfill what that intent is. But there's a lot of gray area that happens when that ball snapped, and that's what's so cool about having number 9 is he knows where people are on the field and he can make it happen.
What stands out to you about the Eagles, specifically their defensive line?
Yeah, it just seems like they're always awesome up front. Like, I mean, since I first got in the league 10 years ago or whatever, it's always been about the D-line there, and you can tell how Howie and those guys build that thing, and it hasn't changed, and as good as they have been on offense and stuff like that, that team runs through that defensive line. Their offensive line is very good, obviously, but specifically that defensive line, what Fletcher Cox has done, I mean, he's always been really good, right? I feel like he's playing as good a ball as I've seen in the last few years in terms of his ability. I mean, he is flying around like he's 25 years old out there and doing a great job. And, you can just tell the standard that they have in that room in terms of how they play and the intent at which they go. So it'll be a great challenge for our guys. I know our guys are going to be up for it, but it definitely goes through that front 4.
And then on the other side, in your time as a coordinator, assistant coach, have you ever come across a play that feels as automatic as that goal line push or that short yards push?
Yeah, it's pretty automatic for them, isn't it? So, and I know a lot of people are mimicking it or trying to, but there's just something different there, again, hats off to how that thing's coached, and I know we've coached a lineman that's been in that Philly building before, so I know that there's a lot of detail that goes into this little 1-yard push that seems automatic, but they also got some pretty good players up front too that move the pile as well. So it's a combination of everything, and again, they get it done. So hats off to them.
His first 100-yard game of his career Sunday. Like, what do you think was it that led to the breakthrough for the run game?
All 11. I mean, I think across the board, them getting enough touches to kind of just get that going. And the way you get those touches is to be extremely efficient and start moving people. And I thought they did that. I thought there was a good mix of going downhill, using the perimeter, getting our receivers involved with some of the toss cracks and stuff like that. So I think it was just a mix. And, again, once you just keep moving the chains and Matthew spitting the ball out in the pass game, you're able to have enough plays to get as many runs there. And then obviously the stats followed through with that. So, it was a good day overall. Obviously Kyron got the yardage, but it started up front, and I thought our receivers did a heck of a job in the run game as well.
What's it been like having Mike out there as part of your coaching staff?
He's awesome. I mean, just having that veteran presence, he's done it at such a high level for such a long time. I've had a lot of people that I really respect in the profession that have worked with him, who just have just always loved him, and you can see totally why. There's just something about having a guy that has all those experiences. He's got all those stories. There's such a calming presence with him around because that he's seen it from a whole vantage point or different vantage point. He's had so many experiences, so you just get to just kind of pick off of that, and it never gets old. It's very similar to me in a different way in terms of just positions, but when we had Greg Knapp in New York, just an incredible human being, incredible coach, and just someone that's been awesome to have around for sure. Great question. Thanks, guys.
No break. How you doing, guys?
What sticks out to you about the Eagles O-line?
Kelsey, obviously, knowing who he is and what he's been, just the leadership of Kelsey and like the veteran presence that he's bringing, it looks like he's got real control of the protections, real control of what the guys do. Their tackles, they look like Siamese twins, where they kick out in protection. You could tell the detail that they put behind it and how they play and how they protect and how they do this stuff. And it's just a real organized, unified group that has been executed at a very high level on the things that they do for a very long time. And they had a nice run at it last year, and they continue it this year.
How
The what? People are still figuring that out. It's a play that is not legal anywhere else in football to be able to push another play. You can't do it on a field goal block. You can't do it in any other area of the game. So I don't really understand what's taking so long to get it out. But it's a great play, and it was a great idea by Sirianni or whoever brought up that idea because it's worked. Whenever you have something work that many times in a row, clearly it was ingenious by those guys that thinking of it. And I'm sure they thought it was going to be outlawed by now, and it's not. So they continue to go with it, and we got to do our best efforts to try to push them back, knock them back, get a couple stops. It's been stopped around the league a little bit. Some people got lower pad level, does some different things, and you got to get out there and try to knock that out. But, the way they do it in particular is really well done because you got a quarterback who's very strong on his lowers, has halfback-like traits. You have that O-line, which we just talked about, and Kelsey being the forerunner of that, and playing with that low center of gravity and being able to get off the ball and move people. And they also got a rugby player that probably taught him to play on the left-hand side of that offense, who is absolutely outstanding with his rugby background from Australia.
What's Kello was had a hard time hiding his excitement. He was talking about what he likes about playing in this defense as far as like the aggressive approach with the coverage structures.
Oh, nice. I did not see it or hear it, but I just can talk about Kello and what a wonderful addition he's been to the group. He's got this calm presence. He's got this real cool demeanor. Kind of looks like a rock star, a little bit mentality when you're talking to him. But I love what he's brought. I love what he continues to grow with the guys. His question asking, his ability to be complete opposite spectrums from DK. Those two guys play off each other real well, keep each other nice and calm. He brings that Jordan Fuller-like presence to the corner position. You got your two young guys out there, Jacoby and DK, basically out there rapping, and then you got this smooth R&B guy on the other side that's just over there listening to Motown music with my mom and dad. So it's really cool to have that kind of mixture in the room. It's really cool how he bonds with his coach. They'll probably be doing yoga together at some point, him and Aubrey. So it's a really cool environment for him to be in. He's brought so much with his technique and his question asking and the things that he brings to the table, what he learned from us and what we continue to learn from him, to be honest, because all of those things will go hand in hand when you got a guy that got as much experience as he has been through some different experience like he has been. He's been at a couple different places, had some success, had some failures, and been able to bounce back and playing really well for us.
For lack of a better phrase, he may be, I guess, externally as kind of under the radar signing this summer. In what ways has he maybe exceeded the expectations you guys had initially?
We really wanted him because they brought some length that we didn't have at the position. We drafted Trey, and I bet you I could out-jump Trey if I got a chance to. He's pretty explosive, so he may get me, but he's short. I got a chance to get him. And then we had some other guys, Kobe, who was vertically challenged as well. DK's a little bit bigger. We wanted to add some length to the group, get some people that can actually go out there and play with those guys. At the time we had Robert Rochelle, had good length, get those guys to compete in training camp. And for him to come in and to be able to assume a starting position has definitely exceeded probably all of our expectations at the time that he came in, but probably not his, with the way he goes about his business every single day.
What are the challenges of facing a guy like A.J. Brown?
Big, strong, physical, and I don't even know if you can just put it to A.J. Brown because the Slim Reaper is definitely a problem, right? And it's just like those guys bring such a challenge vertically to the game, and the coach lives and dies off explosives, and that's what he wants, that's what he preaches, and that's what he's been getting. And to have those two guys on the edge when you got that kind of a run game and you're going to be able to get some singles, and even when they are doubled, they have the ability to come down with it. Those guys present all types of challenges. But I don't know if you can make it even more or less than what we've seen when you see a guy like Chase and you see a guy like DK. And you see all these guys in the league. Every time I turn around, there's a new $100 million receiver. So that position certainly has got the athletic traits. They've got the people, and this team is no different going out there and having those different guys. And they also got, my guy. Olamide Zaccheaus, who I had in Atlanta, and some of those kind of guys trying to fill in for that third role and do some different things. But they are certainly explosive, big, physical, fast. Not so much Devontae, Slim Reaper, but we know what he is. He's a special mover, and he has different talents and different levels that can absolutely put you to sleep if you fall asleep on him.
Over the years, we've heard just about every superlative to describe Aaron Donald in the book. How
How is he creative? Oh, man. I think his ability to pick up each position. You know, you can only move him around the line of scrimmage as much as we do, whether he's at end, whether he's at three technique, whether he's at nose tackle, and it goes from within the play call. And I think that makes him a little bit different. You know, after he goes through his process of the week of practicing where he's going and how he's going to get his stuff done and his job done, he still continues to win, even though people focus most of their game plan on him, if not all of it, and rightfully so. He's probably one of the most dominant players in our game, and still continues to be that, no matter who you put on him, whether it be the best center in the league or the best guard in the league or even the best tackles. He's going to present a certain amount of problems for you when you do it. Now, his creativity, I think it comes from within. You know, I think when he's on the field and he comes up with his initial moves and his go-to deals, I think the creativity comes from him having that move, losing, and then making another one. And then his creativity just jumps off the board when he does that type of stuff.
The 3rd and 4, where he's off the edge, and Ernest and Christian are inside, and then Ernest gets the sack.
Sure.
What happened on that play?
Old AD being AD, right? You know, you put him in a certain spot, and you know, not all times you give him a two-way go. And then sometimes he takes him and he wins and he gets the guy on the ground, or sometimes he takes him, slows him down enough for Ernest to overlap and play off of him and get him on the ground. And we were laughing about it at some point. I think it was after the game or whatever. And I said, "Did you get 2 today?" And he said, "No, I made a move inside, but he got off of me, but Ernest saved me." And we kind of laughed it off and kept it moving. And that's who he is. He's a player that reminds me of Rondé Barber when it comes to some of those type of movement. Not the dominance of that AD has, but Rondé would make plays like that and sometimes go outside the book or outside the box. And you go to correct him. He say, "Either you ride with me or you don't, dude." I'm riding with you, Day. And we go from there. All right, guys. Fantastic.
Sean mentioned in his comments this week talking about Brett and the operation, all the things that go into it, snap the hold. In terms of that part of the operation, what are you seeing from the younger guys and how, if at all, has that affected?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always anywhere, whether it's young guys or not, there's always moving parts to everything, and not really just the young snapper and holder. It's multiple moving pieces on the offensive line for the field goal unit. It's the same thing we're having to do on offense, a lot of different pieces and parts, and just trusting the operation and hitting it. One of the things, obviously we had the block earlier in the season, that counts as a miss for no other reason other than the fact that it was blocked. I mean, there's nothing that says it doesn't go right down the middle from that one. And really the second thing is, if you just look at the overall distance of our kicks, we've had a ton of longer field goals because we trust him, because he's done so well for us. He's been so consistent over his career, which is why we feel so comfortable with where we're at, even with the misses.
Is there a part of you that would, I mean, I know you want the offense to score touchdowns all the time, but is there a part of you that would like some shorter shots for?
I mean, always, yeah. You love to get the good feeling, the good vibes going, but touchdowns are great. I'll take extra points. You get just as good of vibes from 33-yard extra point as well. So I'll take those if we can keep bringing them.
What's gone into the process of Austin kind of getting more opportunities at that return spot?
I think one of the big things is obviously with Kyron and his role changing and adapting on offense, and his increased rep count and everything he's done in his production. You're looking to develop guys, and Tram is a guy that's done unbelievable things for us preseason, training camp, all the way every day. The looks he gives us from the practice squad, punt returns and things like that, puts guys in situations to challenge our coverage units. So it was a good opportunity to get him up and active and rolling, and he's done a nice job, and that'd be a great thing if we can get that thing keep going. Obviously, the penalties hurt the return average last week. Make no mistake about it. We're playing aggressive. We're doing a lot of really good things, but at the same point, we got to eliminate the simple things at times, to where we can't shoot ourselves in the foot. We had good field position twice. I think it was like an 18-yard return, a 12-yard return that got called back. And when it happens before the catch, it's a 0-yard return, and you mark it from the spot. So those are critical penalties that we've got to eliminate, and we're doing everything we can. I think the guys have really bought into it, and coaches shown them in team meetings as well as in our own meetings, and really, hopefully that'll make a good transition without losing that aggressive attacking mindset. That's the hard part, is like, where do you don't mind some of the aggressive type penalties as far as that, as opposed to like the lining up offsides or the false starts and those type of deals, where you just got to be smarter and more aware of the situation and which are the highly visible penalties, especially in the return game.
After 4 games, are you, where do you feel like you guys are as special teams?
Yeah, I think we've definitely, after week 1, we preseason, week 1, we're still developing, growing. I feel a lot more confident with the guys that we're playing, a lot more with just the layering of what we're doing and expectations and the details. You saw a lot of really good things show up on those same couple punt returns, of the finishing techniques, of our next levels, of the rip buys and the sit and fits, where we created seams in space. So there was a lot of good things on those 2 plays as well. Obviously, it takes all 11, and when you have one guy do something, it costs all 11.
What are your early impressions of Ethan and just how he's handled the first one?
Yeah, I think he's still the good thing about him is he's so green, I guess might be the word, playing in a smaller school and having such good talent. That he has just scratched the surface. I think that's the biggest thing I'm realizing with him, is just staying on the fundamentals, the details for him, his drops, implementing different, building upon what his repertoire already is, and like how he can be directional and hang, and he can have a hook, and he can hit plus 50 punts and pin them deep. Just continuing to build and stack blocks with him day in, day out, and I think that's the biggest thing for him, and the confidence is starting to show.
In terms of getting into overtime, there's kind of an indication from Sean in terms of the clock, that late clock, that understanding you guys have a guy who could like hang it up for a pretty long time to
Yeah.
kind of help take the clock down to where you need it to be.
Right.
What's the conversation like about that? And I guess what kind of a tool does that
Yeah.
make in situations?
I mean, you look at that, and in that situation, obviously it was a 4th and 1, and we end up going, and there's 11 seconds left, and you're thinking you can pretty much burn out most of the clock to where they're not going to get a return. You got to look at, there's options. Do you kick a touchback to get it out of bounds? Do you just hang it up? And, in that situation, we felt that we could hang a ball up short. And it didn't matter if they got the ball at the 16, the 4-yard line, or the 20, just putting the ball in there and just trying to make the returner field the punt with multiple bodies around him, and had an opportunity there in traffic. You know, if he drops that ball, we were able to recover it and we get a field goal at the end of the game. It's a good situation to work, and like you said, with his leg talent and ability to hang a ball up, it helps run the clock out or give you a situation where you put a lot of bodies around it.
Now that you guys have had some live reps with that hang time as far as like regular season action, what's that learning process been like as far as adjusting to that?
You're talking about on punts specifically?
Yeah, just like with Ethan's hang time and distance and all that.
Yeah, you know, I think when you look at it, you know, it's about him hitting a consistent good ball, right? That's the number one thing, with direction, with hang time, with distance. Like if you get all three, those are the three main elements for a punter. If you get all three, we're going to be in really, really good shape with the way he can punt. Obviously, you're looking to get all three. A lot of times there's elements, there's different things, there's rushes, there's all sorts of things, elements going into it that you may not. Hopefully you get 2 out of 3. You know, that's really the deal every time. We got to get 2 out of the 3, and then we'll figure out the rest from there. As far as coverage, I think the biggest thing is understanding the timing and the spacing of where guys are at and where that returner and what kind of setup are they setting a field, or are they setting a wall, are they setting a vertical, you know, those type of things where you're trailing. Guys come out. If you're on the same level, it's pretty simple. You're making a vice tackle just like you would in any other play. A lot of times you get different seams, whether it's horizontal or vertical seams, and that's where you can kind of get guys that sift through and cut back. Now we're learning to trail and fill and play it a little bit more like a kickoff, to where you're playing off the guy in front of you, not trying to catch back up and create that leverage, but instead slowing down, letting the returner make his cut, and having the second layer be able to fold and fill. And that showed up a couple different times last week, which was really good to see. Hoyt had a really, really good look at it on the one they tried to return up their sideline last week. He shut it off on the trail and fill. It was really, really good technique.
Ronnie Rivers has seemed to really endear himself to
Yeah.
this coaching staff, and it started on special teams. What did you see from him, and what is he like out there?
You know, I just think he is such an affectionate personality. Like, he's just infectious with everything he does. Football is really important to him. Life's important. He just loves everything about it. So you're drawn to guys like that. And, you know, just his, you know, and you look at him and you think you come into a situation, you see his size, you see like his measurables, right? But you don't see his heart, you don't see his personality, you don't see the way he can impact those around him. And then as you start to see it come in day in, day out, and all the guys starting to respond and have that same feel towards him, you can't help but root for a guy like that. And he's done a really, really good job of playing all 4 phases and really exerting himself on everything. And then you look at offensively, to watch him go out there and run, and how excited guys get for him when he gets out there and has productive plays and both pass blocking, running the ball, catching passes out of the back. Everything he does, he's just at a high level, and it's really, really important to him, and that says a lot about the guy. Yep. Thank you, guys.